Great. Well, thank you to everyone for joining us on the panel. Really looking forward to the conversation that we're going to have. So, I guess just to sort of tee this up, so Karen has already mentioned that part of Scunthorpe Tomorrow's DNA is about the kind of impact that all of us can have as individuals, and as Karen said, it's not about Scunthorpe Tomorrow; it's about all of us who call Scunthorpe home or have called Scunthorpe home at any point in our lives, and the kind of impact that we can have by dint of our experience, our networks, who we know, the kind of skills we've developed either in our careers or just through life and or whatnot. And we wanted to kind of have this conversation to kind of explore that idea of impact in more detail, and in particular kind of explore some of the work that Gordon, who I'll also introduce himself in a moment, has done with the amazing university campus, so just over the way in Central Park, and really kind of opening up that kind of wider relationship with the University of Cambridge and some other organisations that Gordon has relationships with, but also creating kind of starting to create lots of opportunities for not just the university and its students, and we've got Kai and Adroni here to talk a bit about that, but ultimately for all of us and for the town and the community as a whole. So that's the conversation that we're going to have a bit. I've got some questions that I really want to kind of put to the panel, but then we'll kind of open it up for all of you to have a chance as well. So we'll probably run this for about an hour. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the conversation. So maybe if we kind of start kind of furthest from me with Kai, and if you're happy to just sort of who you are, your kind of relationship to the university campus, and I think I have given everyone a heads up, but we do this at all our events. If you could just like one or two words, what does Scunthorpe mean to you as well? That'd be super. Thanks.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, I'm Kai. I am a level 5 student at UCNL studying medical bioscience. Born and bred in Scunthorpe. Yay. And Scunthorpe to me is very much just family and home. Very much.
Thanks, Kai. And sorry, for those of us old enough to do like, GCSEs and A-levels, if anyone remembers those, what's level 5?
Level 5 is like the second year of a university degree, undergraduate.
Hi, my name is Audrone, and I am former student of UCNL of Medical Bioscience program. I graduated last year, but then I decided to study a bit more and get a teaching qualification, so I stayed one more year in that program as a trainee teacher. Currently, I am staff member, working as a lab technician and practical instructor. That's my relationship to UCNL. And now a bit about my relationship to Scunthorpe. I came to this town 14 years ago from my home country, Lithuania. It meant to be like a 1-year adventure, but turned into 14 years somehow. Basically I started my whole new life here from scratch. I worked in industry, learned the language, I made new friends and started a family, so my children are Scunthorpe born. In summary, what Scunthorpe means to me, so it's a town that offered me a new beginning.
Hello, my name's Emily. I'm one of the lecturers on the medical bioscience degree programme. I've been working in Scunthorpe for the last 6 years. So I started at the college, North Lindsey College, and then came over to UCNL. So Scunthorpe for me is all about work, and I spend most of my time here.
Hello, my name is Misan, and I'm the program lead for the medical bioscience program. And for me, Scunthorpe is my adopted home, my adopted hometown. In Scunthorpe, I fell in love, and in Scunthorpe, I brought my family. So I'll say I've got sort of an affinity for Scunthorpe because it's all about nice memories, and I hope to make Scunthorpe a lifelong home for myself and my family.
Yeah, hi. I'm Gordon Dugan. I was born in Crosby in Scunthorpe. I went to school here and then went to university. I'm currently an emeritus professor in the Department of Medicine in Cambridge. I do some work in making affordable medicines. I can talk about that later. And I'm very honoured that I'm working with these colleagues here as part of a teaching program, which we started through Scunthorpe Tomorrow.
Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. I didn't think we'd be sort of introducing kind of romance and things.
Maybe I should say one thing. I think I forgot to say about a little bit about Scunthorpe. So I just want to say.
Do you want to start there, Gordon? Actually, yeah. I guess what's brought you back here?
Well, I've never left in a way, psychologically. So my roots are in Scunthorpe. My family's here. I've still got friends. I'm a season ticket holder at Glanford Park. And
might have heard of those guys.
And so I've always used it as a base, really. I travelled around the world. I left when I was 19. I went to university. I went to the US, and then I came back. And I've always used it as a basis. I've kept friends and colleagues. I've always wanted to come back into the community and do some teaching, but it never really happened. I went to sixth form college. I went to Scunthorpe Grammar, the sixth form. But I then, I went down to the Oasis Centre, which is actually the centre which Ty runs in Avenue Vivian. And I can remember that being built. It used to be called First Hempdyke, so you probably can't remember that. And it was built probably around the 1970s. And I went into the building because I was introduced by Rob, actually by a guy called Majdi Osman. Majdi Osman's very interesting. Majdi he came to Scunthorpe from Sudan as a refugee. He was educated here at Thomas Sumter, and he then got into medicine. He went to medicine at UCL and went to work at MIT in Boston. And he contacted me. He said, I'm from Scunthorpe. I've heard your name. Can I come and have a chat? And he's now doing a PhD with me in Cambridge. And it was really that. He's a remarkable individual, by the way. It shows what you can do to transform your life. And he's very, very committed to the community, partly here and partly in Grimsby. And I think what I would like to think that could happen, that more people of that type, and we heard a talk from our colleague from, I think, Sheffield last time. I think if we can build those kind of relationships with people who have done well and show what is possible to our youngsters and keep them positive in this difficult world, then that's really what it's all about.
Brilliant. I guess you've already sort of introduced some things that I think are really interesting there, Gordon. So I guess there's that idea of fancy word, but that idea of like the diaspora of a place, the people who are from somewhere no longer living there, but maintaining that connection. And just sort of speaking personally, what you said about that, you might not kind of, you might sort of leave Scunthorpe, but it never quite leaves you, and that connection, and that's totally been kind of my experience, and not just because sort of family and friends are here or whatnot. I guess I was also sort of interested in what you said, Gordon, about why did it never happen? And I guess life gets in the way and things, but were there any other kind of practical barriers to you sort of being able to kind of reconnect and find a way to use your kind of experience here?
I think, ironically, social media helps because you start to make connections that you didn't have. So I always had connections into the community, but not really into the educational side. And it's partly my fault because we were very busy. I was an incredibly busy person, doing too many things. I'm still do too many things.
Like this.
Yeah, like this. And I just never made that connection, really. I do a lot of work internationally, so I was traveling a lot, and a lot of it is really around affordable medicines, actually. So it's something which you get committed to. But I watched the evolution of things on the steelworks. My brother worked at the steelworks, retired. He was a fitter on the steelworks. My father worked on the steelworks. My nephew works on the steelworks. My brother-in-law works on the steelworks. And I became interested in the idea of how, if the steelworks went, what might we do instead? I also became very interested in data. And the world, we talked about social media, and I think data is something which is very mobile. You can actually, you do data, you can be sat in Hawaii and doing data work for Scunthorpe. You don't have to be sat in a place and that mobility also interested me, and that is another thing which I think has encouraged me to go back into this direction.
Yeah, and there's definitely, I mean, this obviously won't be for, relevant to everyone, and lots of people sort of still go to work in jobs where, you've got to go somewhere, but there are obviously a group of people who sort of after COVID have that flexibility to kind of work anywhere, as you say, and that definitely sort of creates some opportunities. I'm sort of interested, kind of Miss Anne and Emily, from your perspective, I guess on the other side of this, I mean, how often do you get, kind of approaches from people like Gordon, and I guess how easy is it for you to know how to use that kind of experience and kind of introduce it, and then maybe we can come up, say a bit more about actually what you're doing together, but interested in your perspective on that.
I don't think we get this opportunity very often. We were quite surprised. How did we sort of go about? We just opened our arms to it, really, because what Gordon does is something that, as a team, we're really interested in. We're really interested in research, so we wanted to know more about that and the opportunities that brings along. So we've been able to go and see, where Gordon works and take the students with us. So that's been absolutely amazing and really inspiring.
Yes, on the back of that, it's the opportunity is absolutely brilliant. Having someone of Gordon's ilk coming to us. And I'll say I was a bit overwhelmed at first when Gordon came, thinking about his reputation and all. And it's opened doorways and open opportunities for us. And with Gordon's connections, global connections, we're trying to tap into that. And it's also giving our students a platform where our students are competing on sort of like a global stage, getting bespoke lectures from a seasoned professional like Gordon, and think it's absolutely brilliant for UCNL and our students.
I don't know who'd like to sort of have the first go at this, but yeah, maybe for sort of everyone's benefit, what are some of the things you're doing together? Because I know you just sort of referred there, and sort of groups of students have gone down to Cambridge and whatnot. But yeah, maybe just sort of say a bit more about what's sort of the nature of this partnership.
So last year we had the opportunity to go to the Sanger Institute, which was absolutely fantastic. It was an amazing experience. You both came along, didn't you? Yeah. So, what we'd normally talk about in lectures, we were actually able to just go there and see, and that was, very inspiring. We saw a whole community in Cambridge, and it was like a research community. So Gordon very kindly gave me a walking tour of we went through the hospital, we could see, where all the researchers lived. Then we walked a bit further and got to the labs, and it was something I've never seen before. I'll let you carry on.
Okay. Yeah, for those who are not conversant with biological sciences, so the Sanger Institute's the institute where the human genome, that's the human DNA, was sequenced. So it's groundbreaking, and it's just like the mecca for genomics. And I was more excited than the students to be there and seeing all these researchers. I'm like, wow, I've read about these, and I've read about certain things, and I've seen this person giving a talk, and I've got this researcher right in front of me. I was like, wow, this is really good. And there were some of the high-tech equipment that we use in science. We got a first-hand experience seeing them in operation, and it was really revolutionary for us and for the students. And some of the other things, excuse me. So some of the other collaborations we've done, Gordon is giving some master classes. So Gordon has come in to our lectures and giving master classes to our students. And this is something people pay thousands of pounds to get, but our students are having this. And our students can go out there and say, you know what, I've been taught by an emeritus professor, Gordon Dugan. Like, you mean Gordon? I say, yeah. For some of them, they don't realize what they are having right now. And I told them, like, if I were to be a student, I want to have Gordon's lecture all the time. And it's really, really, really impressive to have Gordon, and we hope to have this collaboration continually for the nearest future. Thank you, Gordon.
Just got visions of you like being mobbed for selfies when you go onto campus now, Gordon. But Adroni and Kai, kind of, yeah. I mean, what's it been like for you, sort of being able to sort of go down to Cambridge or things?
I think from someone who is from Scunthorpe, seeing Gordon in such a way, and the way he's built his life up, and the experience he's got, and you know the level of standards that he holds himself to, it's been really eye-opening in the terms that Scunthorpe, despite it being not necessarily as having the opportunities as other places, even though it's not on the map for that reason, it doesn't limit you to where you can go in terms of academia, in terms of job prospects, in terms of careers. And yeah, I just think it's very awe-inspiring that Gordon's come in from this prestigious university to come back here and devote his time to UCNL and giving us lectures, providing us with opportunities, and just sharing his experiences. And I just think he's a very very inspiring man. We actually had a meeting recently to discuss what kind of work opportunities we could bring into UCNL. Any project-based scenarios. Gordon suggested he bring experts in from Cambridge to come and teach lectures and provide materials, give us that insight into what it could be like working in industry and working in places like Cambridge where research is rife, do you know what I mean? Oh, yeah.
That's great. Adroni?
I remember first time I met Gordon, he came to introduce himself, and we kind of have introductory session. I was sitting there and listening him talk and thinking, wow, that is unexpected and just almost unbelievable that a person with such experience and such a career approached the program and offered his assistance and help, almost like fairy godfather just turned up.
They're really boosting you up there, Gordon.
I've got my grandkids will love that one.
I had opportunity to hear 2 of his lectures, one about vaccines, another about stem cells. And I dare to say it was probably the best lectures I ever heard, and I heard many because I spent altogether 10 years in higher education. So yeah, you just want to absorb every word when someone with such experience talks. And the trip to Cambridge, to Sanger Institute, and to Biomedical Center was the highlight of the academic year, I would say. I just wanted to stay there, kind of hide in the cupboard. So yeah, that was invaluable experience, inspiring, uplifting, kind of make you believe that you also can do such things. You want to work together with these people, with these amazing scientists and researchers. And yeah, my dream is kind of to do my PhD there and to do some research in that institute.
And there's definitely, whenever I kind of speak to, groups of kids or young people sort of across town, there's definitely something about, finding those role models, whatever, for you guys, obviously it's sort of academia and then the kind of scientists, but whatever you want to go into, those people who've kind of walked in those shoes and who kind of look and talk like you and sound like you and are kind of identifiable role models. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say something about the students, actually. They've said a lot about me. So I'm the president of the Microbiology Society of the UK, and we have an annual conference that's about 1,000 people, at least 1,500 people. And it was held in Liverpool, in the conference centre in Liverpool, and the students from Scunthorpe came, and I thought, I was quite nervous actually, because I'm the president, I could get them in. And I thought, well, what are they going to do? Will they look awkward? Will they get nervous? And they came in, and they were off. I mean, they were off to all the stalls. They were just running around, getting emails, getting contacts, talking to all the big wigs, as you want to call them. The big wigs also thought, well, wow, this is fantastic. Let's have a conversation with these people and get the contacts. And that was a really interesting. The other thing is, when I gave my lecture at Scunthorpe last year, the week before, I'd given a lecture at Imperial College. Imperial College has just been voted the 8th best university in the world. And actually, the students in Scunthorpe were more interactive and more interested than the students at Imperial. And that's not to belittle the students at Imperial are brilliant, but the students, they're so hungry. They're so hungry, and a lot of them are very modest because they think, well, I'm not as good as that person. And a lot of people, we just heard of some women who have gone back after raising children back into a career. And there's a few people like that. And they're inspiring, actually. You're inspiring. It's not me. You know, and Kai, we're going to do a project, and we're going to do a bloody good project. And, we're going to get the project published. And I think we've got to stay, the students are the gift, right? And I would say, Miss Anne, I say I'm the president of the Microbiology Society of the UK. I didn't know that he's a microbiology champion. So he's actually been identified as somebody who can lead and inspire in the field of microbiology internationally. He has international experience. He did his PhD comparing the Humber to the rivers of Lagos in Nigeria, and I think that Lagos came out slightly better, didn't it? No, but the microbial quality. So we've got great people in the town.
I have to say, well, I mean, lots on that, but I mean, it's quite eye-opening to me that we've got that like depth of like research happening here in Scunthorpe, and so there's a bit of a question for me about how can we kind of put that at the service of the town and make more people kind of aware of what an amazing kind of asset the campus is. And yeah, I don't know if sort of what's being done on that or any kind of thoughts on that.
Well, I'm going to pass back to Miss Anne. So one of the things that's revolutionising science is AI and data. And everybody thinks it's really complicated, I can never do it, but it's actually not that complicated, AI. It's really around building algorithms. And so what the course in Scunthorpe...
You had me until algorithm, Gordon.
No, but the course in Scunthorpe does not have a data component because they don't teach you. I say, well, actually, why don't we bring somebody up from Cambridge, one of the best AI people who I happen to know, and bring them to teach on the course. And then we're actually probably going to run a course, a 7-day course on bioinformatics, which is informatics. I'm thinking, well, actually, why don't we do that permanently and open it up? Data is not specific to one topic. And the college over there on Kingsway, or Kingsway, has a beautiful data centre, a little hub. And so that's really where we would like to go in the future. Maybe you want to comment on that, Miss Anne.
Okay. Thanks, Gordon. That's an opportunity we'll be grabbing with both hands and legs, and I'll be the first to sign up, Gordon. Yes, it's really important that we diversify, and when it comes to 21st century teaching and learning, we have to go with the times, and AI is revolutionary. It's right there in every facet, and it's something we want to explore, and with Gordon's assistance and connections, I think it's something we need to actually grab with both hands, and offers opportunities to our students, people in the local area, and it actually places the UCNL and DN colleges on the map, because that's going to attract students from around surrounding towns and come to us and give us sort of more visibility.
Brilliant. We're sort of already sort of anticipating my next question, which was, today is all about looking to the future, and the session we're going to be going into after the break is specifically around how do we spend some of the new investment that's going to be coming into Scunthorpe over the next sort of decade. So I guess sort of question to all of you, and maybe if we kind of start with you, Kai, is, what would be your one priority for investment into the town over the next decade? So, one change you'd like to see, or one thing, you'd really like to see sort of funded?
I think piggybacking off of most of what this conversation has been about, and Gordon bringing in new opportunities to UCNL and Scunthorpe as a whole, I think for me personally, I'd like to see the money spent on more opportunities in science, more visibility in science, promoting science to schools, STEM subjects, new courses at UCNL if that's what was wanted, and interest was there. But I think STEM is a very important part of everyone's life, especially in this day and age. And I think visibility for that and pushing towards that with this money would be a really great first start.
Yeah, my opinion is similar to Kai's, and it came from my experience as a teacher and a parent, because I keep hearing how boring science is in schools from my teenager daughter, and I can't convince her otherwise. Later I see students, we have so many great minds, so many prospective students, but they are not confident in choosing STEM subjects to study. And I think that comes from early age when they start seeing science as some kind of monster under the bed, which is scary and complicated, which is not actually. So what I would say where we could spend this money is maybe start from such a simple things as science clubs for young people, which could grow to maybe community science innovation center. Because as far as I know, we don't have anything at the moment in Scunthorpe apart few science events in the summer, and that is not enough. So in my opinion, making something like that could spark the interest in science.
Brilliant.
Sort of a similar idea really, but I think a lot of our students who come to us, they come to us because they've got some connections here where they're not able to move away from the area. And sometimes then when they're looking at postgraduate research, they can't move into that because they can't move away. And so to have somewhere like a research hub, a local research hub where we can, we talked about already, we don't have to be in a certain area now in this day and age. So could we bring something here to work alongside, for example, UCNL, and give our students and staff those opportunities?
That's a very good point.
Right. Along the same vein, what they've just mentioned, I know there's a lot of investment in STEM, especially technology, but not so much investment in the biological sciences. So somewhere like Scunthorpe and the surrounding areas will actually benefit from maybe a bioscience lab, somewhere where people can go in there to sort of learn new techniques and all that. It would benefit the local area because if you're looking for these biological jobs, bioscience, medical bioscience, you have to go down south. So what stops Scunthorpe from being the new sort of Silicon Valley of medical bioscience? So in the future, hopefully, Scunthorpe could be sort of a hub for medical bioscience and for technology.
Yeah, I'd go on that thing, but I'll take a slightly different stance on it. So I mentioned data. So I have helped a centre in Hong Kong, and the students in Hong Kong are quite interesting. A lot of them come from business backgrounds, and as soon as they get to learn a bit of data, they're looking at how they can make money out of it. And that might be actually organising cost, where's the cheapest place to buy this and that in Hong Kong or in mainland China and point of view. It's very simple things. So the other thing is that everybody knows that a lot of the children today, they go to their bedrooms, you never see them again. My granddaughter was a bit like that, but and what they're doing is they're often working on the internet and they get quite good skills and they're not afraid of skills. So I quite like to see a centre form, not around any topic, but around how to actually access data, how to manage computing, and make that open to the children who are locked away in their homes, and also to people on the works. My brother was a fitter, but he was very handy actually on the computational side. And it sounds very difficult, but it's actually learning computing. It's actually just like learning how to use your iPhone. It's just a little bit more sophisticated. So I'd quite like to see that, and then it would be a way of retraining people into a new, and gradually what you do, I mean, Estonia did this, so Estonia actually built a whole generation where they trained them into informatics, and now they have a very, very strong data and informatics culture within the, I think we have to develop, we could develop that culture here.
And I guess what I suppose, you know, you ask a group of scientists, you're going to get a group of science answers. But what I love about all of those is, I think you're all talking about spaces where there isn't like, you know, there's one part of the country that's, you know, got the monopoly on this. So actually, why can't it be here? And, you know, why not here is like almost like the 3 words I'm trying to like use as a bit of a mantra now. So yeah, I really love that. I've got a couple of other questions I really wanted to ask, but I just wanted to sort of give others a chance to ask them as well. We've got the mic in the middle if people have got questions. Would anyone want to come in at this point? Just while I give people a bit of time to think, I guess, Gordon, I'm really interested, I suppose, in your sort of lessons now, as you sort of talked about at the start, having kind of, you know, been trying to figure out a bit of a way of how you kind of reconnect and how you could kind of apply your experience and skills sort of in the town. I guess what would be your sort of lessons or tips to anyone out here? And obviously that they may not be in the same field as you, but thinking, you know, well, I've got, you know, really great experience in whatever, you know, field profession I'm in, but I'm really struggling, you know, I'm where you were a few years ago, struggling how I might make that work. Any kind of particular lessons or advice?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about this. So I'm not the youngest person in the room. I used to be all the time, but I'm not. So I've probably got 2 or 3 years left in me to try and do this. So what I think we need to do is the relationship I have with the college here, I've actually talked to 3 or 4 Cambridge colleges, and they're very keen in partnering with the university here. The university hierarchy, I've never met them. You know, and I don't think they quite, as I say, they don't really have a way. At our university, we have visiting professors, etc. They don't really understand that concept, really. And I quite like to form a group who are willing to come into the ring, if you like, expand the teaching capability outside of the university into the 6th form. I'd like to do it into maybe John Leggett. Then that will allow to bring us to 6th form. It's also into the apprenticeship schemes. It's not just about, you know, so I think what we could do is form that cohort, you know, but formalise it so that we've got a little bit of an idea of where we're going, we have a little bit of a plan. And then that would be the way I would be thinking of going. Otherwise, it will just disappear. It's not all about one individual. It's about the idea, this connectivity. We heard it from the last meeting we had over in from our friend and colleague, and I think we just need to get on with it.
Yeah, I love that idea. And for those who weren't at our last event in June, we had sort of Paul Collier, who's here, who's a sort of colleague of Gordon's, but at the University of Oxford, who gave a sort of guest lecture. And yeah, I love the idea of almost sort of having a bit of a program where we're kind of bringing in some of those like visiting kind of, you know, academics into Scunthorpe. Because again, why not? You know, for those who've been to the university campus, it's an absolutely amazing space. I guess sort of Kai, similar kind of question, but Kai and Nadroni, for other, you know, kind of students out there, other kind of young people out there, any kind of particular kind of advice you'd give on how to make the most of some of these types of opportunities? Because it sounds like you've really embraced the chance to go on some of these kind of visits, build your network, get to kind of know people like Gordon. Kai, sounds like you've got a bit of a kind of project lined up in the works with Gordon, but I guess there might be people out there who, you know, some things may be holding them back from sort of, you know, taking up some of the opportunities that are out there. I guess there's something practically about sort of finding them, but yeah, any particular sort of advice or reflections you'd give?
I think more than anything, it's just about following your passion, isn't it? So like, I studied science all the way through, obviously GCSE to A level, and then I was going away to uni elsewhere, but due to personal circumstances, I had to stay, take a gap year, and then I kind of heard of UCNL, not really looked into it that much, and then I saw the medical bioscience course. I looked at the course curriculum. I thought, that sounds really, really good. So I think a lot of it is just taking that step into the things that you love doing. Science has always been a passion, and I thought, why not continue it at home where I'm comfortable? And Gordon was kind of just a graceful addition to that whole curriculum that we have there. But yeah, any tips really? It's just go and do it. Any opportunity you get, take it. Any chance you can to visit somewhere, go. Just take every opportunity that you can, really, because if you don't know what you're missing out on.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, I would say similarly. Never doubt yourself that you can't do something, because you can do more than you think. If you want to come back to education when you're 50, do it. I came back at my mature age and I did well in foreign language. So yeah, that's what I want to say. Like Akai said, take all opportunity, don't let them pass by. Yeah, that's it.
That's brilliant. And one of the things I also love about the university campuses is, for you real appeal to those sort of mature students or people like career changing, wanting to do something, whether it's when the kids are old enough to have a bit more free time or whatever. So yeah, no, agreed. Thanks, Adroni. And then I guess just finally, and then obviously manage this really badly because we're already sort of eating into break time. But if people do have questions or want to come in, I'm keen to give an opportunity to a few of those. But yeah, kind of Miss and Emily, again, similarly, other kind of organisations out there who are sort of on the receiving end of some of these offers and kind of thinking, how do I what do I do with these? And any particular kind of lessons for you on having been sort of through this with Gordon over the last couple of years?
Yes. What we'll say is from the start is that people are afraid of change or the fear of the unknown is to embrace whatever opportunities you're given. You don't get to see the end result, but you see the progress. And for us, at first, it came across as a bit daunting, but with as time progressed, we saw the opportunities, and it's just opened the pathways to lots of things for us and for other organizations or other businesses that will get such opportunities. It's just to embrace them, embrace the opportunities being offered. Just go there with an open mind and see the possibilities. Because without an open mind, well, there's nothing that's going to happen.
I agree with that, really. Yeah. I think as well, just try and move quickly, take every opportunity, every meeting that you can, because before you know it, months have passed by. So yeah, and try and involve everyone, really.
That's brilliant. Anyone else want to kind of come in before we let people come to debate? So do we have Oh yes, sorry. Yep. Oh, do you mind just using the mic? Just then the recording will pick it up. So we're doing our best to help everyone get the daily step count in today.
Oh, hello. Just to touch further on the point of why can't Scunthorpe become a hub? Yeah, that's the question really. Why can't it? We've clearly got the expertise. We've got Cambridge University and colleges interested. We've got passionate teachers and students. There's clearly a USP there that other towns of our size haven't got. So has there been any work done, or would you be open to reaching out to the relevant people who can attract that investment to the area and promoting Scunthorpe now to say, look, we've now got this. We've got the passion and the hunger. There's certain geographical benefits to being in Scunthorpe compared to being down south, where a lot of these large industries are. So would you be open to doing something, get some activity to try and drive that investment and creating jobs? So when we've got all these passionate students coming through, they can see a path in the future. And the ones at UCNL now can see a path, so I can go into that when I graduate. And also the youngsters at junior, secondary school level, get into the schools and start telling them now, there's now a future career in this. Much like we used to say in the old days of steelworks, learn your engineering, go into this area. We can now potentially look at that in the future and diversify in what Scunthorpe's got to offer.
Yeah, so I think what we need to do is to transform it from a hobby, which is what I'm doing in a sense, it sounds, into reality. So we have to work step by step. So what I'd like to have next is that we have an official agreement between, say, Cambridge and maybe one or two other colleges and the university here to actually go into a program for a few years to try to build. That would be, then you can actually bring funding into a structure. At the moment, we need to get that structure. And I'm confident that we can do it. Then you think, well, actually, when I was here, the idea of having a university campus in Scunthorpe, I could never have thought of it. But a lot of people in the US actually go to university locally. They don't travel. And so there's an opportunity to actually build reputation. And if we can build reputation on that campus, it's a lovely little campus, and then extend it into the sixth form or extend it into the apprentice scheme and bring more and more capable, we've already got capable people in the university, I can tell you now. The faculty are excellent. So the question then is, can we then build on that? It's a very good point you make, by the way.
Yeah, that's great, thank you. I mean, just as a further example, the local authority have just got the area and Barnaby Top kind of designated as an AI zone to kind of attract more investment in there in data centres. A lot of that is just kind of marketing and promotional work, really. The exact same could be duplicated in this area as well to kind of just give that marketing promotion and give it a push.
So why don't we just start a course then on that? So I mean, I think we should start a course on informatics, build slowly, and then use that as a way of... And what you'll find is there's very talented kids hidden away in Scunthorpe will come onto that course and build, and we can support that by people from outside, maybe in Cambridge, for example. I mean, we got the Nobel Prize for AI 2 years ago, Cambridge. I know the guy who got it. It's fantastic. We can get people of that kind of quality.
And I think your point about sort of playing to our natural strengths as a town, as an area, is spot on, right? So, we've got a lot of, what do data centres, for example, need? They need a lot of space. Well, we've got a lot of sort of open land around town. We've got fairly cheap sort of land sort of across the country. We're close to sort of big sources of energy. So we have actually got a lot of natural strengths. There's something about kind of playing to those. And I think you've sort of put it this way, Gordon, this is a sort of acorn, right? But with real potential. We've also got a bit of a kind of partnership with the University of Oxford again. So I think there were these sort of acorns starting to kind of land now, and it's about how we start to kind of develop those as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think we should just be loud and proud about what we've got going on here.
Yeah.
Don't keep it to ourselves. Let the world know what we've got going on. And let's try and bring some investment, jobs and prosperity to the area using that.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah. I think if people only remember one thing from today, for me, it would be, why not Scunthorpe?
Yeah.
And if we just make that the mantra.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm really starting to eat into people's coffee break now, but anyone else want to ask a question or kind of make a contribution before we wrap up? Oh, I think Rio. Again, do you mind using the mic, Rio? People start throwing their coffee cups at you, Rio, so yeah, just duck.
Okay, I can take a hint. I'm a student at the University of Warwick at the moment. I've lived in Scunthorpe for the last 15 years. I was born in Scunthorpe General. I know I don't sound like it. And I guess one of the things that I'm in the humanities, which is STEM's natural born enemy. No, they actually work quite well together. But what I'm curious about is what built Scunthorpe was having a single industry. And with that has come a lot of strengths. And I think one of the privileges about going to a university like Warwick or Imperial or Cambridge or Oxford is you're surrounded by people that believe they can change the world, that they can really make a difference. And so I guess if we're looking at creating another industry here, I would also be really curious about how you see ourselves as creating an environment that brings that belief to everyone, not just in data or in microbiology or in AI, which are all crucial for the town economically and to have a sense of purpose and meaning, but also to help create in all of the young people in Scunthorpe that same sense that those of us who leave can be lucky enough to have.
And I mean, I'm very much reminded of what I think you were alluding to earlier, Gordon, when you were talking about some of the other groups of students that you've worked with at other universities. And I mean, it sounds like actually the only difference, and it's not talent, is the level of sort of confidence and self-belief. But
no, I think universities are built on reputation. Oxford came top of the thing this week, didn't it? You know, and some of the universities in the UK are sliding down because if you become anti-science, anti-education, you're going to slide down the league. You know, the Chinese university is not going to do that. They're all investing hugely in science and in education. So I think we have to do that, and I think you need a bit of leadership. You've got to have a belief, but you also got to be realistic. You can't just say, "Oh, we're going to do this," and try and run too fast. You have to build it step by step. And I think Scunthorpe Tomorrow has started the process. I've started this process, but it will disappear unless we plan the next stage. And I think that's building back to you, whether it's in... I said data, I didn't say science, I didn't say medicine, because I feel it underpins everything in the future of our economy and world.
I think for everyone, it's all about belief, and if we believe we can achieve something, we put our effort into it, then we can actually achieve this. And it's something I've noticed with students coming in. They tend to be frightened, they don't believe in themselves. But if we, as tutors, instructors, give that belief to these students coming in, that's going to filter down. And when you have the belief in yourself, then you can achieve things. And if you have the supporting cast and you have a nice support group, you can achieve everything. We need the belief, and I think it's very essential for everyone to have the belief. Because you have people saying, "Oh, I can't do this," but you can. Why can't you? I tend to hear people say, "I'm not smart enough." You don't need to be smart before you learn stuff. When you learn stuff, you become smart. So I think it's just that belief. People have that, don't have the belief in themselves. But if we can reinforce the belief in them, then we can achieve. It might start a bit like a microcosm, but all of a sudden it expands. And if we all believe in doing things on our own as a group, then there are loads of things we can achieve. I think the belief needs to be there.
Well, thanks, Ms. Anne. I think, we've probably eaten into people's coffee break enough at this point. So I would just say sort of a huge thank you to the panel, so Gordon, Miss Anne, Emily, Adroni, and to Kai. I've loved that. I think the three things that are kind of ringing in my ears from that are first, that kind of we can all have that impact, and obviously you've had that kind of, Gordon, in spades, but actually sort of it's sort of taken all of you to kind of make this work and create some of the kind of opportunities. So it really sort of speaks to me that all of us with an idea can go out and make that change, and it can be at any scale. But this is our town, our community. It is on all of us. I think second, that does require a degree of sort of self-belief and kind of confidence and willingness to sort of give it a go, as Kai was talking about, and Adroni as well, and that can be at any kind of stage in your life, right? And I guess third, that's also going to take us believing in Scunthorpe as a whole as well, and that why not here? Why can't the next data centre be here, or the next science campus or whatever it may be. So yeah, lots I'm kind of taking from this, and I think sets us up really nicely for the conversation, the kind of working session we'll be having after the break. So yeah, huge thanks, and then we'll sort of go enjoy a break, and then we'll be back here for about 10:45.